All right, welcome back to MGD 111. We're going to continue working with layers, and actually we're going to sort of continue not working with layers, if you can catch my drift here, my snow drift. At some point when we are processing this image to be used for the internet or for print or other purposes, we need to merge all of these layers together. Now that poses certain problems because it's really nice having these multiple layers that we can continue to edit and move around as we see fit. I'm just going to undo that. And we can make adjustments as needed. If we decide that, oh, these girls need to be a little bit more over here to fit the cropping just right, we have that capability. Also, if we decide that we need to adjust the coloring or the brightness or contrast on a particular layer, we still have that available. But at some point we need to smush all this together. So what do? Well, right now we have our file saved as a PSD, which stands for Photoshop document. It's kind of an unformatted version of a Photoshop image. Now, what we need to do is, well, first of all, we have the chance to merge layers together. Let's say I like the coloring of the snowman, and I like the coloring of the two sledders, and I want to just merge them together so any adjustments I make to one, I will make to the other. Now, I showed you before, if I hold down the Command key and select two layers, I can move them together. But if I decide I'm really happy with how they work together, I can select those two layers and I can go to this little menu icon in my Layers palette. And let me zoom out because it's at the bottom. And there's an option for Merge Layers. And what that does is it merges the two layers that we selected. And it selects the name of one of them. It selects the name of the top one, actually. If that bothers you, we can double-click on that name and call it Extra Sledders and Snowman. So we just sort of combine the two together. That's pretty neat. Now, if we want to merge all of this together, we have a little bit of a problem with the text in that, and again, we're going to study text in greater detail, but if I click on this text layer, I can actually edit any of this text that I want to. I can change the color, the size, what it says, etc. I have all this capability to make changes to it. Now, when I go to merge all of these layers together, that's going to cease to exist. It'll still be a separate layer, or it'll still be a layer that can work, but it won't be text anymore. So let's give that a try. Let's go to, we have all of our layers here. Let's go to Layer, Flatten Image. Now, it doesn't look like it did anything here, but you'll notice over here, it's all in background now. And if you can see the background, it has the type up here. It's really tiny. And you can see the other sled girls and the snowman. This is now one picture. It's all merged together. Now, this is all well and good, but one problem is we might need to keep those layers separate, even if we're going to process this photo to use for other things. So what do we do here? Well, a couple things we want to do. Let's first undo that last step and save. So we've saved our PSD file just before we flattened it. Now let's flatten it again. We can just go to our history and click flatten. What we're going to do is save as. We're going to save a second version of this picture. So File, Save As, and we're going to give it another name, maybe Sled Flatten. And instead of a PSD, we're going to call it a JPEG. And we're going to keep it in the same folder here. We're going to click Save. And we want the maximum quality there. So now we have a flattened image here. But we also preserved, just before we saved this, we preserved the version of this that was still in loose layers that we can move around. And that's kind of an important thing because we might decide, you show this to your client, they're like, can you move the word so it's not behind the snowman anymore? Well, if you had flattened this and saved it over the PSD file without doing a save as, no, you couldn't. Because once you save this as a flattened image and you close it, you cannot go back and separate those layers out again. It's all smushed together. It's like you've painted this on a wall or something. So we need to be careful when we come to the point where we are merging our layers. So At this point, we have a JPEG, and it's just about ready to use for other purposes. So hope you enjoyed working with layers. You're going to be doing that a lot. So thanks.